Morning settles over the room like a soft hand on your shoulder, and you find yourself whispering what your heart has been holding all along. God, I'm here. Not perfect, not polished, just present. You don't have to perform peace. You can receive it. Let the quiet be honest enough for grace to move. Let the stillness be wide enough for guidance to arrive without you chasing it around the room. A breath later, courage shows up in ordinary clothes. You notice how the light edges the mug, how the floorboards remember your steps, how your pulse slows when you say his name without trying to impress him. Jesus, I don't know the whole road, but I want to walk with you. That's it. That's the hinge your day turns on. Not a grand vow you can't keep, but a simple consent your soul can return to when the noise rises again. Some mornings, the ache is louder than the hope. You don't deny that. You bring it into the conversation. Lord, this part hurts. This part confuses me. This part makes me want to shut down. Watch what happens when you name things in the light. They lose their power to boss you around. They become places for God to meet you, not excuses for hiding. And slowly, you begin to feel led instead of pushed, joined instead of judged. Then a memory knocks, one of those scenes your mind replays when you're tired. The thing you said, the thing you didn't, the road you didn't take. You could spiral, or you could breathe a better sentence. God, I give you the version of me that didn't know what I know now. Let him bless the younger self who tried with the tools they had. Let him upgrade your tools without shaming your history. Mercy is a better teacher than regret ever was. In the next room, the responsibilities wait. Emails like little doors, decisions like forked paths. Instead of hurrying, you ask for a pace that matches wisdom. Lead me in the timing you love, not the speed fear demands. And the day shifts. You start answering what is actually yours, not everything that shouts. You start choosing what nourishes faith, not what flatters anxiety. You start noticing how often guidance sounds like a nudge toward integrity and away from performance. A name rises, someone you need to deal with, someone whose voice still rattles you. You want to escape it, but love has a better plan. Lord, put your gentleness in my tone and your strength in my spine. This is not pretending, it's partnering. You're not being asked to be a doormat or a bulldozer. You're being taught how to be a door, open to truth, closed to harm, framed by the wood of the cross where love and clarity meet. Outside, the day widens. A bird crosses the sky like a thin stitch holding the morning together. You remember how often God heals in small stitches. A kind reply when sarcasm would be easy. A pause that saves a conversation. A boundary that keeps your yes and no honest. You don't need to solve your whole life before lunch. You need to be faithful with the inch of earth under your feet. That is where the kingdom keeps breaking through, quietly, persistently, beautifully. Fatigue may wave from the corner around noon. Invite it to sit. Don't let it drive. Lord, meet me where my energy drops. Show me what matters most right now. Sometimes the answer is to continue. Sometimes it's to step outside and let wind scrub your thoughts. Guidance is not a drill sergeant. It is a companion with a map and a pace that keeps you human. You are not late. You are learning. By mid-afternoon, the questions might grow teeth. What if this never changes? What if I'm missing it? What if I'm not enough? Those are old voices wearing new clothes. You can let them pass without serving them tea. Jesus, lift my eyes. When your gaze rises, the story shifts. The problem is no longer your universe. It becomes one scene in a much larger mercy. You are not the main actor trying to carry every line. You are the beloved, coached by presence, held by purpose, accompanied by more help than you can see. The work in your hands could feel invisible, but hidden is not empty. Hidden is where roots happen. Offer what no one else will notice: accuracy, honesty, care, and trust that heaven keeps the ledgers that matter. What God measures isn't applause, it's alignment. He is aligning you even now. Your motives with love, your words with truth, your steps with the path you asked for at sunrise. Late afternoon drifts in, soft and golden, and you realize you've been guided all day in ways too ordinary to brag about. You stood when you could have collapsed. You spoke gently when your nerves were thin. You paused when reaction wanted the mic. That's grace doing daily work. That's God walking with you, not as a guest who needs entertaining, but as a friend who shares the load and keeps the pace. As evening begins to write its first line, a tender boldness rises. You think of the dreams that felt too holy to touch, the projects that scared you because they mattered. Lord, if these desires are from you, breathe on them again. Notice how hope warms without turning into pressure. Notice how desire becomes assignment only when love confirms it, not when fear dares you to prove something. You're learning the difference. That's guidance too. There will be conversations to circle back to, apologies to make, and invitations to decline. Do them with clean hands. You are not trying to win. You are trying to be true. Truth is not a weapon, but a light. Carry it low and steady so others can see their next step too. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who walk like they've been walked with, calm, clear, kind. Night will come with its old sales pitch, offering you worry as if it were wisdom. You don't need that bargain. God, I give you the parts of today I couldn't control and the parts I tried to control anyway. Feel the awe unclenching. Feel the peace that doesn't ask for credentials. Feel the presence that never clocks out. You are escorted to the threshold of sleep by the same hand that opened your morning. And before you close your eyes, let gratitude say a few true words. Thank you for the help I recognized and the help I missed. Thank you for the strength that looked like standing and the strength that looked like resting. Thank you for being better to me than my fears predicted. Gratitude doesn't cancel sorrow. It simply introduces it to hope, and hope knows the way home. If tomorrow wakes you with questions, you already know your prayer. Lead me, Lord, walk with me. It's simple enough to remember when you're tired and strong enough to carry you when you're brave. Keep it close as you step into new rooms and old patterns. Keep it near when the road curves and when it straightens. Keep it on your lips when silence is loud and when laughter returns. You're not guessing your way through a maze. You're following a voice that loves you. So here you are again, held by a God who does not grow bored with your need, led by a shepherd who does not rush what he loves, steadied by a friend who prefers honesty over polish. Your life is not a test you have to pass. It's a walk you get to take with him. Keep going, keep trusting, keep choosing the next faithful step. The path keeps appearing under your feet because he keeps giving himself as the way. Amen. The sun keeps lifting the edges of the world, and something in you answers without fanfare. You notice how the light does not argue with the dark. It simply arrives, and the dark cannot keep its claim. Let that be your confidence as you step into the next hours. You are not trying to manufacture a path from thin air. You are finding the way that has already been prepared, a way that meets you where you are and walks at a human pace. Even if your chest still holds last night's echoes, you are allowed to move forward with a quiet, steady yes. You remember that guidance often whispers. It comes in a thought you almost dismissed, in a nudge that brings you back to honesty, in a peace that settles as you choose what you know is right. That small yes is not small to heaven. Heaven sees the intention under your choices and strengthens the ground beneath your feet. When worry tries to make a home behind your eyes, bring it into the open. God, here is what I cannot control. Then watch anxiety shrink to its actual size. It is not the author of your story. It is a loud extra who doesn't get to speak over the scene. In the kitchen, a cup warms your hands and the ordinary feels unusually sacred. The quiet clink of the spoon, the soft hum of morning air. These are simple mercies that teach your breathing how to slow. You ask for what you truly need, not a perfect day, but a guided one, not applause, but alignment, not shortcuts, but companionship that carries you through whatever comes. You don't have to count the hours ahead. Grace will meet you in them as they arrive. Names come to mind, family, friends, the ones you carry deep. You won't be able to solve their lives, and God has never asked you to. Offer them without speeches. Hold them, Lord. Light their path. Give me love that is both warm and wise. You wait a beat longer than usual before sending that message, before stepping into the conversation. That beat is a prayer no one hears, and it changes the tone of everything. Love becomes less of a feeling and more of a decision, and decisions like that are how paths open. You consider the work on your list. Some tasks feel too small to matter, others too large to touch. Both can become worship when you do them with the one who walks with you. Begin where your feet are. Put your attention on the task that keeps your integrity clear. Make one thing right instead of rehearsing all the things that could go wrong. When pressure says hurry, wisdom says be true. You choose truth and the day loosens its grip. By light morning, the world's noise may creep back in. Headlines, opinions, the subtle comparisons you didn't invite but somehow clicked on anyway. Change the channel before the story you're living turns into the story they're selling. Your worth is not up for a vote. Your timeline is not a race. Your calling is not crowded. You are not behind. You are exactly where obedience placed you, and new obedience will know where to find you next. This is how God leads, not with a whip, but with a hand at your shoulder and a voice that sounds like home. At lunch, you catch yourself rehearsing responses to conversations that haven't happened. Smile at the habit, then hand it over. Lord, edit my words before they leave my mouth. Keep me from the sentences I will have to apologize for. Peace doesn't mean you never speak up. It means you speak from a clean place. When you are anchored in the one who loves you, you can be both direct and kind, both honest and unafraid. That combination disarms the room more than clever arguments ever could. A memory tugs, an old failure, a missed chance. You don't have to pretend it didn't happen. You also don't have to let it rename you. Let mercy sit beside the memory until it softens. Ask what this moment can learn, not what yesterday should have been. The past is not a prison for the children of God. It is a teacher with limited office hours. Learn and leave with grace. The door is open and today is waiting. Mid-afternoon brings a choice you didn't plan for. It would be easier to drift, to say yes because you're tired of tension, or no because you're tired of trying. But you stop, even for a breath, and invite God to stand in the space with you. Clarity comes not as a thunderclap, but as a clean line inside your chest. You follow that line. Maybe it's a yes with boundaries. Maybe it's a no with gentleness. Either way, you feel the inside of your life become more spacious. That's what guidance does. It trades cramped fear for room to breathe. On the walk back to your desk or the drive across town, the light has a different angle and you remember how you started the day. I want to walk with you. The hours since then haven't been perfect, but they've been held. You can point to little places where you didn't snap, where you listened, where you chose the truth even when no one was watching. These are not throwaway victories. They are the marks of a soul being led, the signs that grace is not an idea, but an atmosphere you are learning to live in. Toward evening, you'll feel the tug to rush one more thing, to push past your limits as if they were failures instead of guardrails. Resist the lie. God does not need you to burn out to prove you care. He needs you available tomorrow and the next day and the one after that. Endings can be holy when you choose them in trust. Close a laptop with dignity. Put a broom away. Step away from the project with the kind of patience that turns into clarity when morning returns. The house settles. The sky cools. You look back without harshness. Maybe there were missteps. You hand them over. Maybe there were small wonders. You name them. Gratitude is not denial. It is accuracy. It lets the good be good and the hard be held. It trains your eyes to locate God in scenes where you once only counted problems. It grows a memory of faithfulness so real that when new storms rise, you are not starting from zero, you are starting from evidence. Before night goes quiet, let your heart say one more true thing. Jesus, keep walking with me. Say it for the meetings tomorrow. Say it for the place in your life that still feels like wilderness. Say it for the parts of you that are slow to trust and quicker to brace. Companionship is the promise. You do not go alone. Guidance is the gift. You do not have to guess. Courage is the fruit. You do not have to wait to feel ready before you take the next step. If tears come, let them be a baptism for the parts of you that still believe help has to be earned. It doesn't. Help has a face, a voice, a cross, and an empty tomb. Help meets you on roads you didn't want to take and tables you didn't think you deserved. Help shows up in neighbors who carry a corner of your burden, in wisdom you didn't know you had, in a peace that arrives in the exact room where panic told you it never would. Help walks with you and his footsteps match your stride. As this day folds, bless what you cannot finish and trust the one who never hurries what he loves. You are being led in ways that will make more sense later, but you don't have to wait for understanding to walk in obedience. Keep the prayer simple and near. Guide my steps, guard my heart, grow my love. Let that be the rhythm in the background of your thoughts, the steady drum that keeps you moving when the melody changes. Now, friend, if this prayer has met you in the real places, if you felt even a small shift from fear toward trust, stay connected with us. Subscribe so we can keep praying together each morning. Share this with someone who needs a steady hand on their shoulder today. And if your heart is ready to say it, Drop a comment. I surrender completely to God. Your words will encourage someone else to take their next faithful step. Until we meet again, may the Lord keep you in His peace. May He guide what you plan and redeem what you cannot. May He open the right doors and close the harmful ones. And may His presence be the quiet courage in every room you enter. Rest in the mercy that carried you through this day. We'll see you in the next prayer. Amen. Dear friends, welcome. In every life, there are moments when you feel lost, uncertain, tangled inside, unable to see a way out. In those very moments, do you turn to God and remember Him? In today's prayer, the Lord is inviting you to bravely reach out your hand so He can guide your steps and walk beside you, like a father staying close to a little child who keeps calling and asking, yet whom God never resents. Come, let us lift this prayer to the Lord together. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and share. Now let us enter into prayer. Breathe for a moment and notice how the morning holds you. The light is not rushing, it's unfolding, just like the help you've been asking for. You've carried questions through the night, maps that no longer match the road, and worries that keep redrawing the horizon. Hear this, you are not expected to navigate alone. God is not standing far away with folded arms. He is beside you, ready to steady your steps and guide you through what you can't yet see. Let your heart open, not with perfect words, but with an honest reach. You don't have to impress Him. You only need to be real. If shame tries to speak first, let mercy answer faster. If fear tries to set the pace, let trust slow your breathing. You can place today every unknown conversation, every hidden pressure, every decision that feels larger than your strength into God's hands. When you do, it's not surrendering to defeat, it's surrendering to direction. The difference is everything. Your life has been led before, through valleys and unmarked trails, and the shepherd who restored you then is restoring you now. Psalm 23:3. So as this morning opens, quietly tell your soul where to look, not to the tightness in your chest, not to the outcomes you can't control, but to the one who goes before you and walks with you. You might be thinking, but I don't know what to do next. That's where grace meets you, not at the end of your competence, but at the beginning of God's companionship. Guidance rarely arrives as a lightning bolt. It usually looks like a next faithful step, clear enough for today. Lift your eyes from the knot of possibilities and place your feet in the small obedience that's right in front of you. What is the next right thing with love? What is the next honest word? What is the next gentle boundary? The next act of courage? The next choice that keeps your heart clean? These are the quiet paths where the Lord leads, one step at a time, and He makes straight the way as you trust Him. Proverbs 3:5-6. If your thoughts are noisy, you don't need to silence them by force. Invite Jesus into the noise. If your heart is tired, you don't need to wake it with striving. Let Him wake it with peace. Imagine placing your plans on the table between you and God, not abandoning your dreams, but letting Him breathe on them. He knows the roads you don't, the conversations that haven't started, the turns that will appear at just the right mile. Ask for the grace to be guided, not just the power to go faster. Ask for the humility to be led, not just the strength to get your way. Ask for holy companionship, not just outcomes that look impressive from far away. There are names you will carry into this day, people you love, people who test your patience, people you're afraid to disappoint. God is not overwhelmed by your list. Place them in His care, one by one, and let love decide your posture. Let love slow your words. Let love strengthen your backbone. Let love free you from the need to control every perception of you. Where you have been misunderstood, release the defense and hold the dignity. Where you have been harsh, receive the gentle rebuke and choose a kinder tone. Where you have been afraid to try again, remember that heaven's measure is faithfulness, not flawless performance. God walks with the willing. He lifts the humble. He clarifies the path for those who will take the step they already know to take. If you're holding a memory that keeps burning, something you would change if you could, bring it into the morning light. Say, Jesus, meet me here. He does not wince at your past or roll His eyes at your pace. He is the friend who does not flinch. He is the Lord who never leaves. He is the Father who bends low to tie the laces on a child's shoes, not scold in the slowness, but celebrating the direction. That's you today. Laces tied by grace, steps steadied by presence. Even when courage feels like a thin thread, the hand that holds it is strong. And when fear insists that you walk alone, this is your answer. God is with me. I will not be shaken. Isaiah 41:10. Now let this become your simple morning prayer, spoken from the center of your real life. Lead my thoughts toward what is true. Guide my words so they build and don't break. Direct my choices so they honor you and guard my peace. Walk with me into rooms I'm nervous to enter. Stand with me in moments I'd rather avoid. Keep me soft where life has hardened me, and strong where love requires spine. You don't have to feel holy to pray it. You only have to be honest. Honesty is how doors open. If you need a phrase to carry, keep one close. Jesus, guide my steps. Whisper it as you pour coffee, as you unlock the front door, as you open an email you've been postponing. Again and again, bring your attention back to the companionship you've asked for. When your mind jumps to outcomes, return to the next faithful step. When discouragement tries to narrate your day, return to the story grace is actually telling. It is not a story of scarcity. It is a story of witness. God with you, God before you, God behind you, God within you. Let forgiveness shape your path where resentment has piled up. Let gratitude soften your gaze where anxiety has stiffened it. Let clarity rise gently where confusion once sat heavy. Clarity often sounds like quiet courage, a yes that is clean, a no that is kind, and I don't know yet that is humble and true. Guidance will rarely shout, it will often nudge. And because God is near, you do not have to panic when the way bends. You can walk it accompanied. So take this day as a gift, not a test. Take this moment as a meeting, not an interview. Lift your chin, unclench your hands. Let your heart consent to be led. The one who calls you forward is faithful. The one who walks beside you is kind, and the one who guards your steps has more mercy than your worry has arguments. May the Lord align your desires with His wisdom, place the right words in your mouth, and keep your feet from every counterfeit path. May He surround your home with peace, your work with purpose, your relationships with patient love, and your choices with clear light. And as you move through the hours ahead, remember, help is not far away. Help has a name, and He is here. Morning has a way of telling the truth without saying a word. The sky doesn't argue its way into brightness. It simply opens, and light does what light does. Let that be your cue. You don't have to wrestle the day into submission. You can open too. When you do, Guidance slips in like dawn, along a windowsill, quiet, certain, unfailing. God is not trying to make this harder than it needs to be. He's making you steadier than you thought you could be. Some roads are learned by walking, not by studying the map. You've collected advice, weighed outcomes, and replayed scenarios at 2 a.m., yet something holy happens only when your shoe meets the path. Take the step that matches your integrity. Say the word that doesn't betray your peace. Choose the boundary that keeps love honest. As you move, notice how fear shrinks when it isn't in charge of the pace. Notice how the presence beside you feels less like a theory and more like a hand. There are days when strength looks like stillness. You don't have to fix every misunderstanding, outrun every rumor, or prove what your heart already knows is true. Let God be your defender in the places your voice would only add noise. Let Him be your clarifier when confusion feels thick as fog. Rest isn't retreat, it is repair, and repaired things travel farther. If you must choose between being impressive and being led, choose to be led and watch how God writes dignity into your steps. Small obediences are the hinges of great doors. You'll be tempted to dismiss them because they don't glitter, but grace often arrives wearing work clothes. Make the call you've delayed. Send the apology that frees both sides. Begin again where you'd promised yourself you would. Let excellence be a form of worship, not perfectionism dressed in church clothes. God isn't counting your flawless performances. He's cultivating your faithful presence, one simple yes at a time. When regret taps on your shoulder, it will try to rewrite your name. It will call you by your worst day, your loudest failure, your messiest chapter. Refuse the rename. You are not a headline from your past. You are a story in the hands of a patient author. Offer God the sentence you're stuck on and watch Him finish it with mercy. Nothing honest is wasted. Even the detours you hate become landmarks of compassion, guiding you toward people who need what you learn there. Some prayers are best carried like pocket stones, small enough to hold, heavy enough to matter. Keep one for the moments when the meeting shifts, when the silence stretches, when the email lands harder than you expected. Jesus, be my way. Whisper it without ceremony. Repeat it without embarrassment. Let it realign your attention to the companionship you already have. As you do, panic begins to lose its authority and hope begins to find its voice. Love is the most reliable compass you own, not love as indulgence or the kind that never says no, but the love that tells the truth and stays for the repair. Ask yourself what love would do in the next 10 minutes and choose that. Love might ask you to speak gently when sarcasm would score points. Love might ask you to let go of being right in order to stay right-sized. Love might ask you to forgive the debt that keeps you bitter and bankrupt. When love leads, guidance isn't far behind. Some burdens were never yours to carry past the first mile. You picked them up to be responsible, and they became a narrative that told you who you were. Lay them down now, quietly, deliberately, without a dramatic speech. Put them in God's hands and refuse to bargain for visiting rights. Freedom is not irresponsible. It is responsive to the one who knows which load belongs to you. The less you clutch, the more room there is for the help you prayed for. Peace will not always feel like fireworks. Sometimes it feels like a well-driven nail, solid, hidden, essential. Let God fasten your day at the studs, a private yes to integrity, a private no to resentment, a private pause before rash words leave the mouth and become messengers you can't retrieve. These quiet choices do not trend, they transform. You may not get applause for them, but you will get accuracy of soul, and that is how you recognize the Lord's footsteps beside you. When you think about the future, give it to God in portions He designed you to carry, one sunrise at a time. Your mind will try to rehearse years ahead to pre-solve pain that may never arrive. Bring it back. Bring it back to what you can bless today, to what you can build today, to what you can release today. Vision is holy, but control is heavy. Let the first widen your hope, and let the second slip through your fingers. The one who walks with you is already waiting in every tomorrow you're worried about. There will be people who don't see your growth because it doesn't benefit their story. That's okay. You don't have to grant them editorial control. Let your growth be quiet evidence before God, consistent, humble, real. Keep tending the ground under your feet, your patience, your craft, your prayer, your promises. The harvest will not answer to cynicism. It will answer to time, truth, and the rain only heaven can send. Sometimes the bravest thing you'll do today is ask for help out loud. Pride will dress up as maturity. Let it sit down. You were never meant to become an island with a to-do list. Invite a friend into the process. Ask for prayer or name the fear so it stops feeling like the air you breathe and becomes the thing you and God face together. Humility attracts guidance the way a valley gathers rivers. It becomes a place where life can flow. If anger keeps knocking, listen for the wound underneath it. Offer that wound to the Lord without rehearsing the courtroom speech you hope to deliver someday. Let Him stitch what you cannot reach. Then ask for a gentler strength, the kind that does not deny pain, but refuses to weaponize it. You can be both kind and clear. You can be both soft and strong. You can be both honest and hopeful, because the one guiding you is all of these at once. Your work today might not look sacred from the outside. It might be spreadsheets, diapers, code, invoices, lesson plans, or patient charts. Offer it anyway. Consecration isn't about category, it's about intention. Place your hours on the altar of purpose. God, take this and make it useful. When your motive is love and your strength is borrowed, ordinary tasks begin to shine with an unborrowed light. Silence is a garden where God grows answers at their true speed. Don't yank up the seed to check its progress. Leave it in the dark where roots learn to hold. In due time, clarity will nudge through the soil, and you will call it sudden insight, though it was being formed in the hush. Trust what is forming. Trust the timeline of wisdom. Trust that being led includes being asked to wait without losing heart. If comparison tries to script your day, change channels. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where obedience put you and where new obedience can move you. The timeline of your life is not a race. It is a relationship unfolding. Let joy return to the simple faithfulness of showing up. Let wonder return to the small places where God often hides big beginnings. Gratitude turns the lights on in rooms you forgot you had. Count a handful of mercies with honesty, not performance. The breath that keeps arriving, the message of a friend who didn't need to check in but did, the strength to choose one good thing today. Gratitude doesn't ignore pain. It refuses to let pain be the only narrator. When Thanksgiving gets a microphone, despair has to share the stage, and hope's voice grows steadier. By evening, you may feel the day's dust on your feet. That's to be expected when you've walked where love led. Let God rinse you clean. Hand back the outcomes you couldn't control, the conversations that didn't land, the efforts that felt unseen. Nothing surrendered is lost. It's simply returned to the giver who multiplies what you offer and returns it to you as peace. And if the night tries to sell you old lies, answer with a remembered truth. You are guided, not guessing, accompanied, not abandoned, strengthened, not stranded. Tomorrow will have its own light, and you will meet it with the same hand in yours that steadied you today. Keep walking, keep listening, keep choosing the next faithful step. The path is being clarified as you move, and the one who calls you forward will never walk away.